Hello guys, what's up? It's Remy here. Today I'm gonna talk about MacBook Air 2013 versus MacBook Pro 2019. What is very interesting to see is in 6 years what was the big improvement, the big change on the laptop. As you can see, I have a MacBook Air 2013 with a processor 1.4 GHz dual core, 8 GB of RAM and a graphic card. This is an Intel HD Graphic 5000. This is not a powerful laptop, but back in the day it was enough. Now I'm gonna talk about my MacBook Pro 16-inch 2019. I have 6 core, 2.6 GHz, 16 GB of RAM, and the graphic card is AMD Radeon Pro 5300. In this first comparison, I'm gonna talk about the screen. Okay, so I have in my MacBook Air 2013, I have a 13-inch with 1440 by 900 resolution. In my MacBook Pro 16-inch, the resolution is 3072 by 1920. As you can see, the screen of the MacBook Pro 16-inch is very amazing. It can produce 500 nits of brightness, and we have the P3 wide color gamut, so it's very good. Next, I'm gonna talk about the CPU performance. Of course, we know that it's gonna be a big difference between a CPU of 2013 and a CPU of 2019, but it's very interesting to see the evolution and to see some benchmark. So in my MacBook Air 2013, I have in single core 718 and in multi-core 1406. In my MacBook Pro, I have in single core performance 1091 and in multi-core I have 6844. The big jump is in multi-core performance. Of course, in my MacBook Air I have 2 core and in my MacBook Pro I have 8 core. The single core performance is better too for simple tasks like writing, reading some mails, or surfing on the web. This is what really matters, the single core, not the multi-core. Next, we're gonna talk about graphic cards. In my MacBook Air 2013, I have an integrated graphic card Intel HD 5000. On the other hand, in my MacBook Pro, I have a AMD Radeon Pro 5300 series. This is a graphic card used for heavy tasks like editing some video, editing some photo. Next up, we're gonna talk about SSD speed. It's very important, especially if you move a lot of files or a lot of data. So you need to have a good speed, good SSD speed. In my MacBook Air 2013, I have 296 in write and in read I have 610. So it's not bad at all, especially for 2013. In my MacBook Pro in write I have 2558 and in read I have 2642. As you can see, this is a big jump from 2013 to 2019. After that, we're gonna talk about RAM. In my MacBook Air 2013, I have 8 GB of RAM. And in my MacBook Pro 2019, I have 16 GB of RAM. what is very important to see is not just the number of RAM you have, but the speed of the RAM. In 2013, the speed was 1060 MHz, and in 2019 the speed is 2668 MHz. So as you can see, this is a big jump too. The RAM is very important, especially if you do a lot of multitasking, if you use a lot of apps open. Now we're gonna talk about Wi-Fi speed. And as you can see, this is very unusual. We don't have a lot of difference between 2013 and 2019. The speed is almost the same. My internet provider gives me 300 megabits, and I have almost 300 megabits in my MacBook Air and in my MacBook Pro. So no evolution at all for the Wi-Fi. Next, we're gonna talk about audio. In my MacBook Air 2013, I have stereo speaker. Back in the day, the sound was amazing, especially for laptop. You really can see the difference, especially when you watch some movie or you listen some music. The sound was very amazing for 2013. But when you try the MacBook Pro 2019, we can compare. This is a big jump. We have 6 speakers. This is amazing. The sound is so crazy. You have bass, you really have to listen to see the difference. I have a little video to show you. Let me know in the comment section what sound you prefer.
Sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make it straight. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. Sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah.
After the sound, we're gonna talk about camera. The crazy thing about camera is in 6 years there was no evolution at all. In my MacBook Air 2013 I have a 720p camera, and in my MacBook Pro I have a 720p camera too. The only difference is in microphone. I have a better quality microphone in my MacBook Pro compared to my MacBook Air. I have a little video to show you to see the difference between my MacBook Air and my MacBook Pro. Let me know in the comment section what do you think. Hello guys, this is a test of the camera and the microphone of the MacBook Air 2013. Hello guys, this is a test of the camera and the microphone of the MacBook Pro 16-inch 2019. Next we're gonna talk about design, which is very important, especially for Apple. As you can see in my MacBook Pro 2019, we have almost a borderless screen. After the design, we're gonna talk about the keyboard, and the keyboard of my MacBook Air is very good. This is a classic keyboard, but the feeling, the travel key, you really want to tap on it. On the other hand, in my MacBook Pro, we have the keyboard, but we have the touch bar too and a touch ID. The big difference is the touch bar and the touch ID. And we have a bigger trackpad too. There is a lot of controversy about the touch bar. Some people like the touch bar, some people don't like the touch bar. In my opinion, I'm not ready to pay more to have the touch bar. But if the touch bar is here, I'm good. Next and final stop, we're gonna talk about connection. In my MacBook Air 2013, we have 2 USB ports, 1 Thunderbolt port, 1 MagSafe, and a SD card slot with 1 headphone port. In my MacBook Pro, we have 4 USB ports. This connector integrates data transfer, charging, and video output, and can deliver 40 gigabits per second. And with this type of connection, you can put 2 6K display. One more thing you have in my MacBook Pro instead of my MacBook Air is the Apple T2 security chips. These chips provide a better security for the Touch ID and for the storage. In conclusion, what really changed in 6 years? So we have a better screen resolution, a better brightness, so it's really nice, especially in daily use. We have a faster CPU, faster GPU. The Samsung is very good, especially for the reactivity of the laptop. We have a faster data transfer, so if you like to move a lot of data or move a lot of files, it's nice. We have a better RAM, so multitasking is better. We have a better sound quality, so if you like to watch a lot of movie, a lot of show, to listen a lot of music, it's nice too. We have no webcam improvement, but we have a better microphone. We have Touch ID, but I'm really waiting for Face ID on the Mac. But Touch ID nice. We have a better data transfer for Thunderbolt, but you need a dongle. I mean, if you don't like the dongle, you're not gonna like the MacBook Pro. And we have the security chips. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Peace.